Hey guys, the Super Review Show for a brand new installment of videos that I want to try and do here, right here on the Super Review Show. Now, as you know, I do why you should listen to about certain artists, about certain musicians and whatnot, and what artists I think you should listen to because they're just that good, despite whatever people may think of them. The music is that good. This is the same premise, but with movies and TV shows. So our initial installment of why you should watch. And I give my full reasons why you should watch TV shows from classic sitcoms or classic TV shows or classic movies or movies in general or current TV shows that you should check out on your own if you have not checked them out. So the reason why I'm doing this video in the first place is because I just recently, like today or yesterday, believe it or not, started binge watching Fraiser from 1993. My initial impressions. I never saw Fraiser up until this point, but I just finished the first season of it, and I got to tell you, man, Kelsey frickin' Grammer is hysterical. This show ran from 1993 to 2004, and there was a report that came out they're going to try and bring it back or revitalize it or bring it back to some extent or whatever. Kind of like what they did with the X-Files, but with Fraiser. So they're going to do another installment with the same cast. I'm not sure exactly how it'll work, but who knows? I got to tell you first and foremost, this show is frickin' hysterical. This, in the midst of came out in 1993, and I gotta tell you, in the midst of Seinfeld, in the midst of the ending of Cheers and Friends was on TV at the time, this was one of the top-rated TV shows of all time. And when you think of the classic sitcoms of the 80s and 90s, this is one of the two or three that you mentioned. Clearly, because Kelsey Grammer, everyone knows him from Cheers as Fraiser from Cheers. So what I didn't realize was, after watching Cheers several years ago, Fraiser is a spin-off of Cheers. I never put two and two together for some reason. I'm not sure why. But bottom line, this show is awesome. It's so funny. It is so freaking hysterical. I laugh myself sick in watching these shows and these episodes. And I'm only just finishing up the first season now on Paramount Plus. But I love it. I love watching Kelsey Grammer and his brother and his dad, John Mahoney, and no relation whatsoever, just saying. But it's a really funny show. And the guy, the woman, I forget her name, but the actress who plays Daphne, I think her name is Jane Lee, if I'm not mistaken. This show is hysterical. The dog, Eddie, is one of the best parts of the show so far. But I'm only in the first season of it. And my grandmother is a huge fan of Fraiser. She outside in the 90s, it was Seinfeld and Fraiser back to back. And on I forget the name of the programming back in the day, but it was like the Super Thursday or whatever the programming was. And it's so funny. I watched all of Seinfeld. I've watched that whole show from start to finish. And it is a brilliant TV show. It's one of my favorite TV shows of all time. But Fraiser is getting closer and closer to that, wow, this is a hysterical show. It has stood the test of time. And I absolutely love this show so much. Already, I'm only the first season of it. And there's only I think 10 seasons of this. That's crazy. And this is one of the reasons why I love streaming so much. Is because this show, as I mentioned, it's on Paramount Plus. So I'm watching it on Paramount Plus. I'm enjoying every single second of it. And I got to tell you, Paramount Plus also has Cheers as well, which I find very interesting as well. Cheers, like I said, Cheers was the precursor to Fraiser because Fraiser was a spinoff from Cheers. But Norm from the bar and whatnot in Boston. Great stuff. Regardless, though, I think, and I'm only in the first season of this show, and I got to tell you, I'm laughing myself sick. My family's watching it as well. We all love this show so much. I got to tell you, this show is so funny. As someone who is brand new to Fraiser, I know there's a shame on me for saying that, but I love this show already. It's such a funny show. So just why should you watch Fraiser? Because number one, it's one of the greatest sitcoms of all time, widely regarded as one of the greatest sitcoms, up in the conversation with Seinfeld, Friends. It's up there. Not a lot of people mention it which is unfortunate because I think that it's brilliant. I was aware of it. I just never watched it until now, and it's brilliant writing, brilliant, funny. The premise of the show, I haven't mentioned that yet. The premise of the show is about Dr. Fraiser Crane. He left Boston, moved back to Seattle, and he is now working as a a radio psychologist, radiotherapist for people in Seattle, and it's about his life in Seattle. His dad just moves in with him, and they hired this woman Daphne, who is going to be his dad's physical therapist, because his dad was in a cop, he was sort of injured or whatever. But it's so funny. The dialogue in this first season is so freaking hysterical, and it still holds up after 30 years later, like literally almost 30 years later, because 2023 is next year. So regardless, though, I think you should watch Fraiser, no matter. And I'm only in the first season of it, and I'm saying that. That should tell you something about the writing and the quality of this show. So bottom line, check out Fraiser. I highly recommend you guys check it out. Like I said, if you can watch it, it's on Paramount Plus. You can watch the entire show over the course of a month or so. And because one thing I like about it, though, is the runtime is like 24 minutes per episode. So I plowed through a ton of episodes immediately, which is awesome. And I'm already getting hooked on the characters, how Fraiser interacts with these love interests and whatnot. His brother has an attraction to Daphne. It's really funny stuff. But I think you should watch Fraiser for those reasons and many more. But that will do it for this first ever video for why you should watch. Thank you so much for watching this video. And if you have any other Fraiser thoughts, jump in the comment section below, share your thoughts on this. But for all of your why you should watch the videos, keep it locked on the Super Review Show. The J-Man off the rock. And we'll see you guys later.